greatest. So you know someone got mad, and you know someone probably got offended. So who's going to be the greatest? In other words, somebody want to be in charge or be the boss. And we'll fall out quick in a hurry about who's going to be in charge. Everybody want to be a chief, but we don't want to be an engine. We don't want to follow. But Jesus, and we read that he took this very seriously about offenses. Matthew give a similar account in the 18th chapter, but Mark gives us a little more light about this account in his gospel about offending. What is offending? Making somebody angry? Or somebody get wounded or injured. And there are many causes where some people offend people on purpose. Some unintentionally. They're unaware they offended someone. Let's go over to Proverbs chapter 18, look at verse 19. It tells us about a person, when a person get offended. Proverbs chapter 18, verse 19. Everyone there? He says, a brother offended is harder to be won than a strong city, and their contentions are like the bars of a castle. In other words, he said a brother offended. It's hard to be won. Sometimes you offend people, it's hard to win them back. They offended. In other words, they put up walls. They said that I don't want to have no more dealing with them. I don't like them anyway. I don't want to have no more dealing. They don't put up a wall. And it's hard to penetrate that wall. But we may go back, we may go over there. Matthew chapter 10, I think around about verse 11, 12, it talks about how a brother offended. It says, if you offended a brother, you need to go to him and talk to him and see, can y'all work it out? You might just simply need to go apologize. Then some people, some people hard-hearted. Now, I don't accept your apology. I'm hurt. You hurt me. That cut me to my heart. I'm hurt. I can't forgive you. And then you read on, it say, carry a couple more witnesses with you and try to reason with that brother or sister. But it said a brother offended hard to win than a strong city. Hard to win. It didn't say impossible, but it said hard. It didn't say impossible, but it said hard to win. Then a strong city and their contentions are like the bars of a castle. Sometimes you can feel the tension. Just like you can feel last time, you can tell when an argument that happened in the room. It's quiet and it's thick. Some tough words have been said. You can sense it sometimes when you come into the room. And that's what happened when a brother or sister offended. Hard to win. Let's go back over to the gospel. Jesus took this very seriously. Let's go back over to the 9th chapter of Mark. And he began to deal with his disciples. And starting at verse 33, Mark chapter 9, verse 33, he said, he that came to Capernaum, being in the house, he asked them, what was it that you disputed among yourselves by the way? But verse 34 said they held their peace. They wouldn't even tell Jesus what they was arguing about. A dispute was all. They was arguing about this. I'm pretty sure it got pretty heated. You had Peter there. He's hot-headed anyway. Probably got pretty heated there, their discussion. He said that they held their peace For by the way they had disputed among themselves to who should be the greatest. But Jesus had discerned what they talked about in verse 35. He says, and he sat down and called the 12 and said unto them, if any man desire to be first, the same shall be last of all and serve but in all. See, Jesus let them know it's a cost to be in charge. It's a cost. He said you should be a servant of all. So he turned the tables on. A lot of people think you don't want to be big and that large and in charge. But he says, and he took a child and set him in the midst of them. And when he had taken him in his arm, he said unto them, whosoever shall receive one of such children in my name receiveth me, and whosoever shall receive me receive not but him that sent me. In other words, he said, you take the child, you receive me, then if you receive me, then you have received the Father. But then John tried to say, John come and said in verse 30, John answered and said, Master, we saw one casting devils in thy name. He ain't said nothing about the disputing, but he want to bring up what they the devil. Well, you know, he want to change the subject here. No, we'll do that. Something we don't want to go. We'll change the subject. We'll change the subject and her. We don't want to deal with that. And he said, John answered and said to him, Master, we saw one casting out devils in thy name, and he followed not us. We forbade him. We stopped him. We told him don't do that because he followed not us. In other words, he said, y'all stop it. Y'all ain't with us. Y'all ain't got no business using Jesus' name to cast out no devils. And see, John them did that. They might have offended those folks. They might have took offense. And in verse 39 said, Jesus said, forbade him not. He said, in other words, don't do that. For there is no man which shall do miracles in my name that can lightly speak evil of me. In other words, he's saying that he said they on our side. You working against us. You trying to stop them. They working with us. In verse 40, he said, he that is not against us is on our part, or the part that means on our side. We go out witnessing, we somebody else witnessing, we going to stop. Y'all ain't with our group, y'all stop witnessing. And they'd be wondering what's wrong with us. We supposed to be after the same goal. We trying to win somebody into the body of Christ. And it said, verse 41, for whosoever shall give a cup of water to drink in my name because ye belong to Christ, verily I say, he shall not lose his reward. He said they're going to give reward and you're going to get yours too. Verse 42. But whosoever shall offend one of these little ones that will believe in me is better for him to be that a millstone be hanging about his neck and he will cast into the sea. See, Jesus took this very seriously. So you better off to have a millstone cast around your neck than offend one of these little ones. See, he took this very seriously. Very seriously. And he said here, he said, if thy hand offend thee, cut it off. It's better to thee to enter in life maimed than having two hands and to go into hell. He said, if something offended, your hand's the problem, you need to deal with them. Your hand's the problem, you need to be dealt with. Your hand's the problem causing offense, it needs to be dealt with. Need to be dealt with. See, he take offense very, very seriously because we read in Proverbs, say that's and if it's hard to win when they're offended. He didn't say impossible, but they're hard to win when people get offended. So Jesus took this very seriously. Then he go on to say, he's saying, in Maine, he said, having two hands to go into hell, and the fire would never shall be quenched. He took this even serious. He didn't mention about hell. He took this so seriously. And then in verse 44, he said, where their worm died not, and the fire is not quenched. He didn't even went on mention some details going on in hell. Where the worms, you're talking about the worm eating people's flesh in hell. That the worm don't die. Died not. When I read this, I was thinking of something that told me the other day. It's been about a week ago. I was on the back part of my property, and I was back there doing some stuff at the edge of the woods, and I don't know where something bit me or one of those briars was poison or something. I know a day later, so I had a red area on my stomach area. And that thing began to work on my flesh. You know, I put all kind of cream on the cortisone 10 and all kind of stuff, but it would bait it down for a while, but then it'll go back to working on my flesh. And I thought about these worms that never quit, working on people's flesh. And it lasted for a few days, but now my healing done manifested. It's gone. The itching and all that stuff gone. Now, it took 3 or 4 days. I had to stand and say, God, what is this? This stuff biting on me. It's working on me. And it lasted for a few days, but then I noticed the other day, it's gone. I don't have pain. I said, thank you, Jesus. I received my healing. I received my healing. But I thought about this worm. See, he talked about these worms that died not. He took this very sin. He was giving the description of what's going on in hell, that these worms died not. Don't you know that people go to hell, that the worms will be eating on their flesh? Continuing, they won't get no relief. But the very interesting part, he mentioned that 3 times. But in Matthew don't even amount about mentioning things about these worms that died not. But he was talking about offenses. Jesus took these offenses very seriously. Very seriously. Because you offend a person, it's hard to win them. But not impossible. Let's go to Matthew, the 10th chapter. I want to go over there for a minute. We're talking about offenses, but it's some things that we can do as offense happen. As I mentioned earlier, that Matthew don't go in all the detail that Mark did in this account, in this 18th chapter. But he kind of pretty much talk about the same thing, verses 6 through 10. Let's drop down to verse 15 in this 10th chapter. Everyone there? Moreover, if thy brother shall trespass against thee, go and tell him his fault between thee and him alone. If he shall hear thee, thou hast gained thy brother. First of all, you don't offend a brother, you need to go see, y'all get it straightened out. That's the whole thing, to win your brother. To win him. You're going to have to go to him. He ain't coming to you. He got a wall up. He's not coming to you. He or she, they're not coming. They got a wall up. They don't even want to talk to you. They don't even want to see you. I'm offended. What you said the other day, that offended me. I took that very person. You wounded me. I'm hurt. I'm hurt. But you all be willing to go to him and say, brother or sister, I'm sorry. I realize what I said, it affected you. I'm sorry about that. What can I do to fix it? All I can do is tell them I'm sorry what I said. I put them words out there. I know words cut like swords. But I feel bad about it now. But then it goes on to say in verse 16, if thou wilt not hear thee, he said, take with thee one or two more. He said, the mouth of two witnesses, every word may be established. But it goes on to say, if you read on it, then you might not want them back. It says in verse 17, if he neglect to hear them, tell it to the church. But neglect to hear the church, letting him be unto thee as a heathen man and a publican. In other words, you done got it off of you. You done went to that individual, you done told them, you done expressed your sincere apology. It's on them. It's on them to take the fence down, but they offended. I got my fence up. I'm offended. And so that's when Jesus stressed over there about, he was talking about the worm, the hellfire, all that, about offending a person. He said, you offend these little ones. This is a serious matter. He talks about hell, and he talks about the worms. That's how serious it was to Jesus about offending a person. The offense. Do you have a fence up today? Are you offending anybody today? Or are you offended? You offending, you got your fence up. I don't care what they say. I'm not going to accept their apology. I'm not. But the word says you don't forgive, your Father in heaven won't forgive you, and you won't forgive. You got to forgive people. We can find a lot of stuff to be offended by. People talk about them, say stuff. We can get offended. We can laugh at it and let it run off, like water run off a duck bag. But a lot of people take it to heart. But last time that show our immaturity. When people say that thing, you can't take a joke. You offended. But then some people mean to offend you. They do it on purpose. How you handle that? I said, I know you don't like it. I'm saying it anyway. Mm-hmm. But as a child of God, you shouldn't be like that. You shouldn't be like that. You shouldn't be like that. Shouldn't be like that. Offenses. You got that all up. But thank God. If we can get ready to close it out. Let's go to Isaiah 53. Isaiah 53. Isaiah 53 and 3. Isaiah 53 and 3. It went there. Amen. And he is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrow, acquainted with grief. We hear that it was our faces from him. He was despised, and we esteemed him not. Surely, he had borne our griefs and carried our sorrow. Yet we esteemed him not, stricken, smitten of God, and afflicted. But verse 5, is you've been wounded. He said he was wounded for our transgression. When I seen that person that offended got wounded, but he was wounded for my transgression. He was wounded for my offenses. He was wounded. He was wounded for our transgression. He was abused for our iniquity. And the chastisement of our peace was upon him. And with his stripe, we are healed. See, Jesus can heal that offense. He can heal that wound. No matter how deep it cut. He died for that. That wound. He died for that transgression. He died for it. You know, that hit me today when he said he was wounded for my transgression. He was wounded for my offenses. We all have offended somebody, did something, but I got a Savior that was wounded for it. For my offenses, my transgression. Chastisement of my peace. That's when I know when I gave my apology for that offense, I know I can have peace. Because my God had purchased my peace. I don't care, but over 2,000 years ago, he purchased it. The chastisement of our peace was upon him. And with his stripe, we are healed. We are healed. It's already happened. All you got to do is receive it. See, a lot of people are still wounded. They wounded from relationship. They wounded from this and that. But he done healed you over 2,000 years. You got to reach out and say, Lord, heal me from this relationship. I'm still hurting. I'm still sorry. But he died for all your sorrow, for all your hiccups, your mess ups. He took care of it on Calvary. He paid it with blood. He paid it with blood that came down from Calvary cross, that blood. The cleansing blood, able to cleanse you and make you whole, that had made us to be worthy sons and daughters of the Most High God. Oh, he's worthy. Nothing but the blood. There's some say, well, nothing but the blood. I've been cleansed by the blood. Even though I had all kind of stains and all kind of shortcomings, but I've been cleansed by the blood. All my offenses, all my trouble been cleansed by the blood. I'm covered by the blood. See, Jesus took offenses. He took it very seriously because he knew he was going to the cross to take care of those offenses. Oh, I'm glad he took care of it. I know I couldn't take care of it, but he took care of it. Oh, goodness. Wounded. You might have got wounded, but he's wounded for you. Oh, the great healer. Wounded for our transgression. Oh, Isaiah 53. Couldn't do nothing but bring tears to my eyes when I looked at one that took my offenses. How serious he took this. He knew there was a serious problem. Because he knew he had to deal with sin. That's what we're talking about your hand. If you're talking about sin, let me quit. God bless you.
My. Oh, I tell you what, that was messages like that, you just have to quit. Boy, I tell you, that was just powerful. I came in on the tail end of it, but I'm glad the day was good. Oh, bless the Lord. Just been a busy day, and so just